What is up, everybody, and welcome back to yet another episode of the Camera Junkie live stream. My name is Luis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. Now, as we were doing the countdown and the setup, you might have seen me moving around dancing because I'm listening to music. But I'm getting messages from Paul here that says we don't hear music if it's playing. And I appreciate that, Paul, master moderator, as always. So thank you for sending me that message. But I have been jamming out, and Ecamm is showing that the system audio is there. So this is what we do. What we do. Let me check audio here. Let me see if I could. So I don't know, Paul. If you can, let me know if maybe you're hearing music now, and send me a message. I would appreciate it. I just changed a setting in the audio, but definitely the system audio is supposed to be working. But go ahead and send me that message if you can. If you guys don't hear any music, my apologies for that. Yeah, something's going on. Yeah, no music. Thank you for that, Paul. I appreciate it. Well, this is what happens when you do live streams, right? Certain things go awry, especially when you're using a mobile setup. So, yeah, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and press pause here because that's a bit distracting, especially if you guys aren't hearing audio anyway. So, I think, I think for right now, we're going to roll with it. System audio, it's in mix mode. You know what? Let's go ahead and here. Give it one more try. Got music playing once again. Let me know, Paul, if you guys can hear that. One last time to the browser before we really get things kicked off and started. Just in my ear. Hopefully that is coming through. Not, we're gonna roll with it. All right, we're gonna do it louder than me. Okay, so audio's coming in there. Paul, you're amazing, bro. Your next level stuff. All right, so let me go back to the browser, and I'm gonna dim this there, and I'm just gonna go by the levels that Ecamm is telling me. So hopefully, says we hear that. Okay, perfect. But I think right now it just so happens that I'm paused it. No, okay, so we got it. We got it. It was just a track. And one last time to check. When you really don't have your thing set up, Okay, I could raise it just a pinch. And I think we should be good there. If not, Paul will let me know on a text message. We're gonna roll with it. So thank you for hanging out as we doing all the you know, hard work, so to speak, to get the live stream setting. Now we got the music in the background. You can hear me, and we're gonna do it all over again because life happens. So welcome to the 165th consecutive live stream of the Camera Junkie live stream. If it's your first time, welcome. My name's Lewis, also known as Mr. Camera Junkie, where I remind you to upgrade your skills before your gear. And today we're on location live from Orlando, Florida, because I spent the week in Podfest 2024, which is what I was prepping for last week. And today we're on location. As you can see, I'm hanging out in the lobby, or basically the dining area of the hotel that I'm staying at. This is the Comfort Inn here in Orlando near International Drive. And I have Aiden in the room sleeping, so I didn't want to make the excess amount of noise there. Plus, the secondary thing is that I wasn't able to broadcast the way that I like because there's limited internet speeds here, and I could only max out to 5 point something megabits per second, which means that I do not have the ability for full 4K, and so we're running it a little bit less, a little bit less quality in hopes to get a better overall production out. So like I was saying, if it is your first time, please be sure to introduce yourself in the chat. Say hello so that I can know who you are. Give me your name, and that way I can, introduce you to the Camera Junkie crew, where you get the nice Camera Junkie crew welcome. And as tradition goes around here, first thing that we do, usually 5 minutes prior to this time, is we go first to check the comments to see who's hanging out. And right off the bat, we have Paul, Mr. Moderator, saying hello to the fam. And once again, as you can see, he was already messaging me directly, helping me out to set up the stream. So once again, thank you as always. And we have Parker Jennings in the house. Thank you for stopping by and hanging out here with me. Says everybody's saying hi. And oh, we got Sly. I gotta catch your replay. I've just been completely out of it, but I saw that you and Peter went live. Almost lost track of days here, in Orlando, but definitely gonna be taking some time to watch some replays. Michael's also here, says just made it. How are you doing? All right. And yeah, like Paul says, don't forget to hit the like button if you haven't done so already. Well, let's get into it, guys. We're talking Podfest 2024, and it's been one interesting experience. It's been a blast. Nobody that I've met is better said, everyone that I've met has been just absolutely amazing. I've had such an amazingly great time. So many people have taken an incredible liking to Prince Aiden because he's basically stole the show. We were running around recording content with Doc and Katie for Ecamm, and I had him next to me playing on the floor, on the carpet with his toys. In a variety of different situations, and a lot of people, including Katie, Alicia, and quite a few others from Marcio from Jacksonville, that were just so kind enough to take the time to actually hang out with Aiden and play with him as we were doing other content, and just being able to mingle and converse with a variety of different content creators, so many. And I was really blown away. So many amazing connections were made in this week, and so many people gave me, I gotta be upfront with you guys, probably the nicest compliments that I've ever received in my life, and all in regards to my relationship with Aiden. For those of you who've been around here and know Prince, you know that he's my everything, and he's the reason why I do what I do, the reason why I'm live every week without skipping a beat. And I do it all for him, and the fact that people were able to recognize the amount of affection and love that I have for my child without me ever meeting them was an experience second to none. Um, I lost count of the amount of people who felt compelled to come up to me and just tell me that they've just been watching my relationship with Aiden from, from the hallways from afar, and that they're just amazed. And I I I'm almost at a loss for words because I've had so many people come up to me and tell me that I'm a good father, and that it's just undeniable. It's so evident in just the relationship that I share with my son. And that is probably going to be hands down the biggest takeaway from Podfest 2024, which was not what I was expecting. You know, um, so many people were drawn to Aiden. He's just like a magnet, and I am just so grateful to be his father. Um, Excuse me while I get myself together, because he means everything to me. And I came to this event expecting to be, like, to make the connections that I did make as far as the production goes, and meeting other creators. But the thing that has impacted me the most has been all the love that I've been receiving for my relationship with Aiden. And to me is like I'm just being a dad, and the nicest compliment I have to say is gonna have to go to someone that I met, Jessica. Um, she she said that the love that I have for my child shows up miles before I do, and I have to say here on the live, thank you, because those words really meant a lot. And you guys are seeing evidence to it that it really touched my heart. And I want to thank everyone that I met. And including into that, there was a lot of people who reached out because they felt also compelled that they wanted to help in whichever way, shape, or form that they can. And that was another added bonus, that I've made a lot of great connections. And plus, I was also able to, like, just enjoy my week here with so many amazing people. Now, JP High Tech was one that I wasn't expecting to see at Podfest, and he snuck in, and that was such an incredible experience to being able to meet him. Seeming that we've been in contact for like years, and like I said, just really wasn't expecting to see him there. Also, Junaid, for those of you who are in the Ecamm fam and know some of these people that I'm mentioning right now from that, from those connections and those groups, whether it's on Facebook or Discord. But Junaid is someone that I also wasn't expecting to see, and that was just like really cool. um, there was so much going on that I know that I'm gonna have to watch a lot of the sessions on replay. But I can sit here for basically a month, like easily, day by day, counting and recounting stories of things that happened here at Podfest. And it was just an amazing experience. It also goes to show that it's not only Podfest, it's the fact that we're going out and connecting with like-minded individuals, content creators from this platform and variety of different platforms. And with that, it's a like recharging experience. Now, we recently got back from creator camp in October, and that's just another added bonus. And right now, I can honestly tell you, I'm pretty hooked on like creator events. And there are so many that are coming up later this year that I'm going to be doing my damnedest, hardest efforts to make sure that I try to get to the ones that I'm really trying to get to the most. Now, with this event, Podfest, I can honestly tell you that that schedule has been filled up even more because events that I already knew that are supposed to be happening, like People of Video in May, and then we're also going to have the Creator Camp again in October. Now there's other events that are filling themselves in other months, and August, I'm not going to put my foot in my mouth. John would know what I'm saying, but that I'm gonna do my best to try to make another event that's going to be showing up in Kentucky. There's another one in Atlanta. And we're all being invited to these because of the connections that were made in this Podfest. I have so many invites for podcasts, so I'm going to be doing a lot more podcast interviews because I had a variety of different people reach out and saying that they want to have me on their show, and I am just humbled and honored. So everyone who reached out to me, just know that I will be setting the date to get those locked in. And for the people that I can shoot, like remember like Pat and Francisco and quite a few others that I have either their contact information, like John, and that we're going to be getting in contact and doing big things, whether it's podcast integrations, like just working with each other. And it's really got me motivated as well to start to put the fire under my butt to actually get my own podcast out there. I've been producing The Flow, and I even recorded podcast episodes through the live stream that I was going to put out. But I feel that I'm going to go another way, right? I'm going to dedicate my podcast venture into more of an interview mode instead of just a solo kind of venture, so to speak. So I'm really going to be doing my damnedest to get that going. And it's a topic that we've been mentioning a lot this week here, which is just start, right? And obviously I've been doing this live stream for over 3 years, so I definitely have the work put in. But when it comes to that audio podcast and publishing it in the correct source, I haven't taken the steps to do that for myself, which is going to change in 2024. And I'm basically saying it here, I'm going to start a interview podcast, sort of in the Camera Junkie moniker or kind of theme. Now, I really want to contact other creators and just talk about cameras, right? And be what I am, which is the Camera Junkie, and just start talking tech and see in any which way that I can help and have amazing conversations doing so. So that's my idea for the new version of the podcast that I'm going to start producing in 2024. So you heard it here first, and pretty much everyone that I've made a contact with, I'm gonna try to see how I kind of reverse engineer and have them on my podcast as well, so that I can get my like feet on the ground and start putting some traction. Because through our gold member meetings, our masterminds, that we're talking constantly about how to get past the procrastination, so to speak. And of course, we're always saying just start. But one of the reasons why people hesitate to start in the first place is that they usually are waiting to get things quote unquote perfect, right? Like, oh, I need to set this up, and then I'm going to have to do this type of artwork and do that, and so on and so forth, which for some of us that been in this game for a while, we know that perfection is a myth, and that's something that really doesn't exist. But hypothetically, let's say you were able to produce a perfect podcast for your first podcast, and to you there are no flaws and nothing for you to fix. Where does that leave you, right? You'd be left in a place where you would have to overproduce production to take the next step in leveling yourself up. And that's just so that you can have the conscious effort to know that nothing is perfect. And if you are perfect, then it's only downhill from there, right? Because your next podcast will be less than perfection, which is impossible in the first place. So my recommendation to you, and when I say you, I'm talking to myself, is to just start doing it. Be the entrepreneur. jump off the cliff and build the wings on the way down, because there's always going to be things that you're going to want to change, but you're not going to know what those things are until you start producing some type of content. So whether it's a live stream, a podcast, pre-recorded content, whatever it may be, just start so that you can get to leveling yourself up, right? Like I always say, upgrade your skills before your gear, but you got to get started, right? So I want to take advantage of start or become better at interviewing guests. So I'm going to start my Camera Junkie interview podcast, right? I'm not just going to put it on myself, and I'm going to start creating a Calendly link so that I can have people join and we record our conversation on their time, so that I can use my flexibility powers to actually help myself not procrastinate in creating this content. Well, let me go ahead and check back with the crew. So we have some comments. Okay, so we got all the comments out of the way of no audio and that we got it working. Oh, Slice said the same thing. Prince Aiden is a babe magnet, and I'm gonna have to agree with that, because he was definitely getting the attention of all the ladies and all the moms, and he's no dummy. That's all I'm gonna say. He's got good taste, and I'll take that kind of like I'll take that for him. You know, as his father, like he's got good tastes. Oh, thank you, Paul. Paul's also mentioning saying, and I tell you the truth, those things really do mean the world to me. Oh, thank you, Sly. And that's what was, I guess, like evident, right? Sly saying, "I'm a wonderful father, thank you, and it's apparent to anyone who's in my presence." And yeah, that's exactly what it is. And this convention with so many more people at the expo, at the Podfest, it was I was able to receive more of that love, on kind of like a bigger platform and in abundance. And like I said, I'm just still amazed at so many amazing people that I've been able to meet, get in contact with, and so many people who, for being able to meet me and seeing Aiden want the best for us both. And I'm very excited. I'm super humbled and grateful. So I just can't wait to see what is gonna come about in this year, because there's gonna be, how they say, we're gonna put the pedal to the metal, we're gonna hit the gas, and there's gonna be a lot of changes to benefit both Aiden and I. So I just can't wait, because there's a lot of good things coming up in the horizon. Paul says he totally agrees. So that's why I love this community. Everyone is awesome. I concur. Absolutely concur. Hey, K-Wall. K-Wall's in the house at the Podfest in 2019, right before the pandemic hit, and it was exciting and a motivating event. Absolutely. Like, we even had Dr. Drew hanging out over here. Like, I wasn't able to see him because it's hard for you to be on stage and an audience member at the same time. And there was a lot of on stage that we did throughout this. Now, one of the things that we did was actually just record a lot of podcasting tips from a variety of different content creators, of whoever that we were able to get. Some that we were actually like singling out, that we wanted to make sure that we got them on camera to help out the eCam community. So that's very exciting. And there was, like I said, a lot of friendships were made, a lot of relationships were established, and I can't wait to see what this leads to. But this was a really cool event. And the crazy thing is that, no matter, like, not taking anything away from Podfest, but some of the ones that we were invited to are supposedly even like to a higher level. So really interesting. Um, and I'm really excited. There's one that's happening, and it's the one that's got my mind, and it's all the way in August. So it's really giving me enough time to prep for it. But there's gears already in motion, there's things already in play, and now it's just do my part, right? Work hard, and we'll see, like how they say, let the chips fall where they may. So that's what we're gonna see, exactly what happens. But because of that reason, and just foreseeing what's on the horizon, I'm really excited for this year, and I can't wait for big things to change. All right, so I don't know. Do you guys have any questions that maybe I could elaborate on, from Podfest? Just put them in the chat. Make sure that you preface them with a Q colon so that I can single them out and make sure that I don't miss your question. Now, one of the things that we did is that we were, like I said, recording a lot of content. So, because there was a lot of gear and things that were moved around, I ended up buying a cart. I ended up buying just like this little foldable cart, and I just dropped everything in there. And once we got to a spot where we wanted to record, I kind of unloaded everything and started doing that. Well, what I ended up doing the next day was I loaded everything onto the cart. So I took everything out, and then I set up a light, a camera tripod, the camera, the audio mixer, XLR cables, and everything was on the cart on wheels. At the same time, we were able to take all the heavy bags of all the extra equipment and gear and put it within the tripods, inside of the cart. Excuse me, kind of to like anchor it down, to weigh it down, to make it more sturdy. And with that, we were able to just roll around throughout all Podfest, recording. Oh, I left a big thing out. My Ulanzi LT028 light, the battery powered one, I have it right here. That's what's lighting me. And that's on a Savage drop stand, which is what I showed last week. The metal stand just kind of is easy to place anywhere because it like folds up and then drops open once you let it go. I have that here to my left, and that's what's holding my Ulanzi light, which I'm looking at directly at the moment. That's basically my minimalistic setup. Because, oh, actually, I'm getting ahead of myself. That's the setup that we had for the Podfest, right? And now I'm reusing those items here. So I have that light drop stand facing me right here, and directly into the computer I have the Sony ZV-1F connected via USB-C. Why USB-C? Because it only transmits 720p, and 720p is kind of like perfect, even though I'm broadcasting in 1080 for the amount of bandwidth that I have currently. um, this was not going to be 4K tonight because there was no internet for it. Now, as far as audio go, Rode Wireless Go 2s connected directly to the MacBook Air, which is running Ecamm, and that setup is going in via USB-C and then being controlled through Crisp. So basically, the MacBook Air that's running the entire show is got the audio coming in through headphones directly into my ears. The two USB-C ports are being consumed by the Rode Wireless Go 2 receiver and the connection to the Sony ZV-1F, which is what you're seeing here. And then completely separate on battery power, we have the Ulanzi LT028 with the Savage drop stand. And that is what I'm using to broadcast right now in my minimalistic mobile setup for Ecamm Live on the go. Now, I wish I had just had a bit more internet just so that I could have like increased the quality, but seeming that I am completely on the road, this is pretty good. So I'm not really complaining. Just I'm kind of used to my setup at the house. But let me see if there are any questions. Oh, okay, so Michael said, how did I get the lighting setup to go? I ordered a new softbox from Ulanzi that attaches to the LT028, which is their battery powered 40-watt light bulb. That's the one that I ordered for my setup, and I had it front facing. But The reason why is because it was too harsh directly, and I had no softbox slash modifier for it because it didn't exist. Ulanzi came out with this light before they had the accessories for the mini Bowens mount that they created. Now they recognized that they needed to put some modifiers or light modifiers in front of it, and I was able to purchase an octagon little, I think it's called the AD30 from Ulanzi, and that's connected to this light. Now, the Ulanzi light has a 3800 milliamp hour battery, and at 100% would give you roughly 80 minutes, I believe, which is like an hour and 20 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes, maybe max, on the built in battery power. But what I was able to do was charge up my battery bank. So I have a 26,800 milliamps. So not a 3,800, but a 26,800 milliamp battery bank. And I was able to put that like in a little sleeve and connect a USB-C cable to it that then connected to the light to keep it as if it were to be plugged in and powered on with a full charge pretty much the majority of the day. And then at certain time my battery bank would just give out, and that would be the end of its power, and the light would stay on its own internal 3800 milliamp hour battery just the same. And that's how I was able to use the mobile lighting setup for over 8 hours each day while we were recording over here at Podfest. And Sly says, picture looks great and audio sounds awesome. Thank you. I am using just about 5 megabits up because that's what's available with the Wi-Fi here. So there were certain things that I did. Now, the MacBook Air is an amazing computer, and I have the M1 variant, but the MacBook Air is not really recommended for Ecamm, especially right now, because Ken and Glenn are just so amazing that they keep putting new features to this program and just making it require more of the resources. So the Mac Mini is most likely not recommended for anything Ecamm. But because I know that these are certain limitations, I start reducing the ask or the need for processing power from Ecamm. So on my mobile setup here, I've gone into the settings and I've turned off the internal recording for two reasons. Excuse me. The first reason being that I don't have enough hard drive space on this computer right off the bat. So if I start putting big files, like from these live streams onto that hard drive, it's going to be filled up in no time, and then the computer starts to work less efficient. The second reason is that if I really did need the backup, I'm actually going live to YouTube. So if I wanted to get the backup of this file to repurpose it for whatever reason, for that would be the same reason why I would be doing the internal recording. Unlike other platforms, YouTube does give you the feature to keep your live stream. Talking to UIG. And because you are able to go back to that live stream is why it's kind of different when it comes to that aspect. Now, a little FYI, guys, I say that I'm talking to UIG because Ecamm, Ken and Glenn, have, or better said, are working on this program to be better integrated with Instagram so that you'd be able to pull up comments just like I do for this live stream like this, but on the Instagram live. And the fact that you will be able to connect a higher quality camera like you're seeing right now and have that broadcast to Instagram instead of just using your phone's like capability, or better said, the app's capability on your phone to broadcast your image and audio through, the device that you have in your hand. So a lot of people were trying to see how they can connect a better camera to their iPhones for like for instance an Instagram live, but at the same time, Ecamm now gives you the power to do everything and anything that you can do with Ecamm pumped directly into Instagram. And one of the cooler features is that, let's say you're using Ecamm's multi-destination feature, saying you're broadcasting the same exact video to both like YouTube and Instagram. You basically only have to worry about your wide shot because that's how it's going to broadcast it. And then Instagram, that only uses like, vertical feeds for video. Oh, here's my father calling me at the wrong time, like always. And and I lost my train of thought. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm fading. Like, it's been a bit exhausting, and right now I'm gonna need a nap. Right? So I'm doing my best to kind of stay awake, but it's easy when we're hanging out with people that we like, right? So that's always the best. But at the same time, I'm starting to let you guys know I'm having trouble keeping it on the tracks because my mind is fading. All right, so my dad left me a voicemail, and I can't remember exactly what the point I was trying to come across when he distracted me. But I digress. Let's go back to the chat. Oh, David's in the house. He's saying, Luis. How you doing, David? Look. Is that even coming up? There we go. How you doing, David? Everybody's saying hi to each other. But yeah, that's basically in a nutshell my experience here at Podfest. Now, Aiden, I got to tell you, such a well-behaved child. Absolutely love him. So happy and just amazed at that boy. And once again, someone had told me a long time ago that he chose me, right? And that's the way that I'll take it. So I'm the lucky one, right? I'm the lucky one who gets to be his dad and hear him smile and laugh and play, and he lights up my world. And once again, like throughout all the people that I met, all the conversations and everything that was actually happening, the biggest takeaway that I'm gonna take away from Podfest is all the beautiful comments that people gave me towards the relationship for me and Aiden. So I'm winning, right? And then everything else will be settled on the wayside. And that's the way that I'm seeing it. Okay, I have Sly says you were talking about Instagram? Yes, I'm talking about Instagram. Instagram, you can go live as of right now, right, with your phone, but there's really no integration to have a different program run your live stream until Ecamm. So Ecamm right now, Ken and Glenn, they're working this in the background. But the amazing thing is not only that you can utilize a high quality stream to Ecamm, but like I was mentioning before, which I think now that was the train of thought. So thank you, Sly. Is that with Ecamm you'd be able to broadcast to multiple destinations. That's already available. But now, if you were to select Instagram, right, it has kind of its own settings for the video feed because it uses vertical. What you'd be able to do is just run Ecamm and go live to both places, and your regular traditional widescreen view could go directly to YouTube and there will be no difference. But then when you go check out Instagram, it's going to cut out the center and just use the center as a vertical feed. The amazing part is that you'd be able to bring in the comments from Instagram with the Instagram avatars and put them up on the screen, just like I do for the YouTube comments, which is just next level for Instagram because they've never had that feature. Now with Ecamm, they do. Michael, you kept the stream going and gave us some great info. Go to bed. I don't know if you could tell, but it's like, yeah, I'm teeter tottering back and forth. And yes, this is exactly what we're talking about. IG from Ecamm, absolutely. And that's just it's not even in beta testing right now. It's in alpha testing. It's been given to a handful of content creators. One of them being Anna and Fulgence from Building Blocks. If you're interested, you could find them on Instagram, and they have a video showing how this feature works because they're one of the handful of people who were selected to be the alpha testers for this. And another one is uh, this is Nikki on Instagram. So if you check her out, um, you'd probably be able to see one of her live streams using this new feature and having the ability to pull comments from Instagram and put them on screen on Instagram, which has never been done before. But now with the power of Ecamm, you can. David is in the house. Hey, that's so thoughtful. Thank you, sir. As always, you guys, this entire community hanging out here every Saturday night, even if it's just saying, "Hey, how are you?" Just like it affirms like the fact that we're doing something good here, and I just can't wait to see it just build even bigger. You know, this community has been growing at like at a steady pace, and once again, I'm super humbled and thankful for every single one of you who hang out here on a weekly, because you make this my favorite place to be. Sly says, be safe on your journey home. Thank you, Sly. But just to inform all of you, I am in no rush to go home. I'm not leaving tomorrow. The event is still going on tomorrow, Sunday, but only until noon, kind of like to half day. Right now, currently, they're still having a party over there at the Hyatt, or no, the Wyndham resort, because it started, I believe, at like 9:30 and probably be going to midnight. Now there was an event, an after party like that yesterday as well, which I partook on, but I knew that I was going to be doing this live stream today. And when people were asking me, hey, am I going to see you at the party tonight, I was like, no, I'm going to be here on my live stream for episode 165, the only place that I'd be, because of all you camera junkies out there, just like me, making this community everything that it is. So thank you as always. But like Sly was saying, be safe on my journey home. I'm running like squirrel, so to speak, but they're still partying. The event closes out tomorrow, I think noon, 1 o'clock. And then once that's all said and done, and I guess I'm done hanging out in the hallway, I'm gonna be heading back here to this hotel and vegging out. There's gonna be nothing left to do. So, like, even tomorrow, I'm not gonna be bringing the whole setup to record content. Probably just gonna have my camera to take some more photos and things like that, more for my personal, just for my personal photos and things like that. And then I'll be checking out Monday morning, getting a full night's sleep, resting up correctly, and leaving with no rush. Plus, Monday should have so much more or such less traffic compared to Sunday, heading from Orlando down to Miami, because we have a lot of the weekend warriors that are coming in town just so that they can go visit like a Disney park or something like that. And they're going to be heading home on Sunday, driving crazy just so that they can make sure that they're in town to go to work on Monday. I'm gonna avoid all of that, and I'm gonna start driving around 1 o'clock in the afternoon back to Miami, a 3 hour drive, 3, 4 hours max, and I'll be back home Monday afternoon with no issues, because like Sly says, to be safe, you have to think ahead. And I'm definitely always thinking ahead to be safe for Aiden. So I didn't want to drive tired at all. That's why I made the provisions and the settings so that I can be here until Monday. Now, getting up here, I'm just going to leave you with this last tidbit. It got hella tough because I couldn't leave certain things behind, right? I couldn't leave dirty dishes that will then turn into a hot mess, and maybe me get home, to a house full of flies. Yeah, that wasn't gonna happen. I would need to make sure that the garbage was taken out for the same reason. Like, can't just have a house full of flies, and just making sure that things were ready at home when we got back home. And that took a lot longer than what I expected. I ended up not going to sleep at all, coming, I think, from Tuesday to Wednesday, right? Which is on the 24th when I started driving over here. And I was thinking I'm going to wake up real early to start taking the trek up to Orlando to be in town as early as possible. Well, that didn't happen. I ended up falling asleep, or being able to go to bed. That's a better way of saying not falling asleep, because it wasn't like sleep deprivation. There was just so much that I had to do that I got to go to bed at 8 a.m. And at that moment, I had energy because I was like on adrenaline, just doing everything that was necessary. The car was packed. Aiden was taken care of, and just ready because he was sleeping, and so many different aspects that I was like, can I drive right now? And I didn't want to risk it. Did not want to risk it at all, even though I was just like pumped on adrenaline, and I didn't want to feel the need to take a nap or get some rest while I was driving. So for that reason, I went to bed at 8 a.m. and let my body determine the time that I was going to wake up. But I did it more like a nap. And like 3 hours later, I was able to just wake up and finish everything off, get Aiden ready, and hit the road. So I ended up getting here later than what I wanted, but it was because I was making sure that I was cautious, and to not start driving when I shouldn't have, and make sure that I got the rest that I needed to actually get that done. So that was how I got here. Oh, my favorite tech is here saying, Hola, Mr. Camera Junkie. Had to search for you as my notifications got buried under other notifications. I searched for live and couldn't find you until I typed your name. Thank you. Well, thank you for doing that. I appreciate it. And it's good to know, because there's one thing that you guys know, is that when it comes to Saturday night, you will always be able to search for my live stream and find it. Um, we're going to be wrapping this up. So let me let you know, if this was your first time, just know that every Saturday night this goes down, no matter what, right? Rain or shine. So this was 165 consecutive weeks, and next week will be 166 as we keep this rolling all the way into year number 4 of the Camera Junkie live stream. So yeah, 165 episodes is 3 years plus of this Camera Junkie live stream being here every single week, and it's because of you amazing people that make it the place for me to be. Hey, John made it here as well, saying happy Saturday to everyone. Sammy is here saying the same thing. How are you doing? Everybody's saying what's up. Paul saying, I agree. Get some sleep. So I guess I must be rambling. It says, how are you doing, Lewis? Asked Sammy. I'm doing tired, Sammy. This is an amazing event, but it's exhausting. Now, I was just talking about, I had this cart full of gear, full setup. Um, if you want to see it, Sammy, you can check Doc Rock's Instagram right now, because he made a quick little video breaking down the setup and what it looked like. Then you'll be seeing the content on ecam.com from that same location, because we're recording horizontal and vertical at the same time. So we'll be seeing that on a lot of social media. Our plan, our goal was to actually get 52 people giving podcasting or pro podcasting tips, so that we can release one every week for an entire year. So that was our goal, and I will find out later if we actually, made the goal of 52 individual clips for us to actually, have content throughout the year. So fingers crossed. But in a nutshell, what I'm doing tired. But I'm glad that you're here, Sammy. All right, let me see if we got anything.
David says he's fading as well. Fast. Says, question, is that the ZV-E10? No, this is the ZV-1F. So this is my inexpensive $500 camera, which FYI, I actually saw it with a 20% discount. So it was being sold for $400. And this is the ZV-1F with the fixed lens, the fixed focal length, 20 millimeters, connected via HDMI. So it's not even 1080p output. It is outputting 720p, and then with the power of Ecamm kind of being upscaled, and we're broadcasting the entire thing at 1080 to YouTube because of the limitation of the Wi-Fi right here at the hotel. Yep, and Sammy nailed it. He says, I think it's a ZV-1F. I was going to connect my A6600 so I can get even more of that video footage and everything. And once I started doing the test speeds on it, and I saw that even in my room, right? Like, let's say I wanted to do my room, the internet there was not good. It was at like 2.2 megabits, and it was not happy. But here in the lobby slash dining area of the hotel, got a little bit better of a signal, enough to be able to broadcast in 1080. So I selected that and said, you know what? If I'm going to go 1080, there's no reason for me to set up my 4K camera if we're not going to get that type of resolution. And it was going to be a lot more to set up. The ZV-1F, I'm actually going to take a photo. Let me see if I can do that. Oh, I have. Oh, well, you guys seen it. I basically have it on a tripod, but it is a small um, articulating arm, one of the magic arms, on a Osmo small tripod. So it's literally just sitting behind my LCD of my laptop, and I have it within touching distance, like right there. I'm touching it. So that's how close we physically are to the camera. But it's a ZV-1F pumping out 720 and then being upscaled to broadcast at 1080, and it looks good. It says, I commented on that video. That setup was super cool. I want a cart like that. Yeah, it was really cool. And it says, how's Aiden been on the trip? He's been amazing. And if you want to watch a little bit of the replay of this, you'll see me get a little, verklempt, so to speak. A little emotional because it meant that much to me. How well behaved he was and how people were just gravitating to Aiden. Like someone I mentioned before, Pat, she said that she had no idea what Ecamm was. She had no plans of even, like, that wasn't even her mission. But she saw me with Aiden, and she had to come by to just to say hello, just to meet Aiden, to just, like she felt within herself, she's like, I just have to talk to you, and I have to let you know that I absolutely love the relationship that you have with your son. And like I said, those things are really, really meaningful. She's also one who invited me to speak on her podcast and elaborate, or touch more on, my relationship with Aiden and the things that some of you know that I've gone through in his, short time of being here with us. It's 8 years, and he's changed my life in ways that I can't even explain. So that is that. And this is where we're gonna wrap it up. So thank you, Sammy. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, David. Thank you, John, Sly, the other David. So let me just make sure, because we got David Hunt, and then we also have David Harvey, Michael, all of you, everyone who makes my live streams every week the place where I want to be. As always, I want to thank you for taking the time and hanging out with me. We did it. 165 is in the books, and I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces for 166 as we do this all over again next week, right here on the Camera Junkie YouTube channel. Same time, same place. I can't wait to see all of your smiling faces. Take care of yourselves and each other, And I will see you next time. Talk to you.